Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is our take. We are your hosts. I'm Ocean.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Connor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Connor's joining us for this episode because we're going to talk about a genre of movies that these two are a little bit more knowledgeable than I am. And it's if you've been a follower of our channel, you guys know that I'm not much of a scary movie or like that spectrum of the movie industry. I'm just not usually not a fan of. But today, this episode, we're going to talk to you guys. Excuse me, give our reaction to Scream 6. This movie stars
Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera, Hayden Panettiere, Jack Champion, Samara Weaving, Courtney Cox, Mason Gooding, Liana Liberato, uh, Roger L. Jackson. I'm just going to put him in there because he's kind of like the actual star, and Tony Revolori.
Alrighty. And this movie came out like almost it'll be about 2 weeks now once this episode comes out. And this is part of just us trying to catch up, ladies and gentlemen. There's been, like we said last week, there's been a lot of movies and TV shows that have come out that we really want to get our thoughts out to you guys on, and this is one of them. This is a movie that we did a trailer reaction to, and I was uncharacteristically interested in this movie. I have seen the first and the second Scream, but I don't think I've seen 3, 4, and 5. And if I did, I don't remember them at all. So uh, I'm interested to see what kind of perspective we have from you guys. That I'm guessing you guys have seen all 6 of them now.
I haven't seen 5.
No, I haven't seen all 6. I've seen 1 and 2, and I believe the third one.
Okay. But maybe just the perspective of people that generally like this movie, slasher films and
I mean,
stuff like that.
I know enough about everything, even though I haven't
Yeah.
seen 5. I know what 5 is about, so it's
And like I said, you guys are more knowledgeable of just this genre in general, right? Like I don't really know what makes a good slasher film versus a bad slasher film.
I mean,
Not necessarily Scream specifically, but just
I would say with
slasher
any
films in general.
horror type, like slasher, paranormal horror, like it's always subjective. You know what I mean? It's like
Sure.
you have the taste that you have, and I say this because like I'm not super knowledgeable about what the perfect slasher movie is, but I have my own preferences for slasher movies, and um, I don't. It's probably not going to line up with like Taylor's preference of slasher movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah. That's why I think this episode is going to be interesting because I think we're going to get some different perspectives, and my opinion might actually be uh, shocking to you guys. So we'll do this in traditional fashion. We'll talk about it spoiler free first, and then we'll dive into some scores as well as some spoilers. So, starting with the spoiler free content, I will go first again. And for me, on this movie, uh, it I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. Uh, I did have some issues, and we'll talk about them. But I enjoyed this movie way more than I thought I was going to, and it's probably the second best thing I've saw within the last week since we last filmed. Um, so kind of uncharacteristically, I really enjoyed it, and it's starting to become a pattern that is like kind of worrying to me. That like whenever I do branch out into this genre, I seem to actually end up enjoying the movies that I watch, except for was the
Pray for the Devil.
Pray for
Yeah.
the Devil.
And we don't
Yeah,
talk
except
about
for
that one.
But like when I watched Black Phone, I really enjoyed it. Um, branched out for this movie, really enjoyed it. So it's kind of like I don't know, maybe I do like scary movies or something. I don't know.
Could be foreshadowing for things to come in our.
Yeah, I don't know. I might end up watching more and more of them, but I did really enjoy this movie. Like I said, I don't know what makes a good slasher film versus a bad slasher film, but there were a lot of elements to this movie that I enjoyed. I did have an issue with the ending of it, but overall, I thought it was pretty solid, and my feelings are pretty much in line with like the general reception by the public and critics as well. Like I feel like it's a pretty solid movie, which is pretty unusual for when it's like the sixth installment of a series. Okay, so
Yeah.
how did you feel, Connor?
I want to let Taylor go first because I feel like
Okay.
I'm gonna have a hot take on this one.
Oh, all right, Taylor.
I just enjoyed this movie a lot. I'm just gonna say it's the best Scream movie that has ever come out.
Oh wow.
Even though it is 6, it's kind of really 2 because 5 was almost like a soft reboot.
Mm,
So, I mean, technically, yes, it's 6, but I feel like they changed pretty significantly for 5, and
yeah.
this is a continuation of it. But no matter what,
So
like I said, I think
it's
it's the
kind of like
best
two
Scream.
series. Like 1 through 4 was its own series, and then 5 was kind of like a reboot, and then this is number 2 in that series.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a like a legitimate reboot, but
Right.
it feels like it.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like it's been a while since I saw the first and second Scream, so and they're definitely indicative of their time period that they were released in, as far as like acting and editing and all that stuff goes. So it's kind of hard to compare to a modern day movie, but
yeah, I
I
mean, they weren't amazing like when they came out.
yeah, they're
But
more of a cult classic, but
yeah, Scream has kind of always been a cult classic. Or it's not.
yeah,
If you put it up against like classic horrors, it would not do well.
right,
But it's just something that for me and for probably a lot of people around that time, like it just kind of, I don't know, just got hooked on for like it. I mean, it's one of the, I would say one of the original movies that makes fun of itself and like does
yeah,
that whole thing, which movies are trying to do now. Um, and you know, it's like hit or miss whether or not it works, but I always thought it worked, and it continues that in this one as well.
yeah. I would agree with that. I think it's probably one of its defining characteristics, and is what intrigues people. In fact, it's the single thing that kept my dad interested in the Scream franchise. My dad and my mom have seen all 6 Screams, and I was shocked when they told me that when we went to go watch the movie. Like, "Oh, yeah." Like, when I told them I was gonna go watch Scream, they're like, "Oh, we wanna come with you." And I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." And so we got there, and we were, like, standing in line and stuff, and I was like, "Why did you guys wanna come?" They're like, "Well, we've seen all the other ones, so we wanted to see this one." I was like, "What? When do you guys watch Scream?"
Yeah,
Uh,
that's kind of
so I
surprising.
was
Yeah.
pretty yeah, it's super surprising. So there, but that my dad told me the reason why he likes it is because it's what he said was a meta movie
Yeah,
where like
it's a meta movie, just like
the movie is aware of
Unbearable
itself.
Weight,
Yeah.
yeah, of
It
massive
doesn't take
talent
his
and
it
stuff like
doesn't take
that.
itself seriously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he really likes that. And my mom, she just said that it's just one of those movies when she watched as a teenager, just kind of stuck around with her and her friends and her family and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Taylor really enjoyed it. Connor,
I didn't like this movie.
oh,
I'm
okay,
gonna just say now that I'm not a fan of the Scream movies in general. No offense
okay,
against Wes Craven. I think he did a good job with the first Scream movie, you know, and I can appreciate movies that don't take themselves seriously, um, you know, and kind of just run with all the tropes and
yeah,
everything and have fun with the movie. And I like that about those Scream movies, but I just don't like the Scream for a slasher movie. That's not what I enjoy in slasher movies. I
okay,
am more of a Halloween guy. I like this unstoppable force of like pure just
evil.
yeah, like when I look at Mike Myers in
Uh,
Halloween, like
Michael.
that's yeah, Michael. Sorry.
Sorry, I just
That
like to
yeah, I know you
clarify the
got
differentiation
differentiate.
because
Yeah,
they're two different things.
yeah. Yeah.
wait, they're two different things.
Well,
Mike
there's
Myers
a
is an actor, and
right.
Michael
Oh,
Myers is the
Right.
character.
It's
People
just a short
often
version.
confuse them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So Michael Myers, he's like I like to compare these two, and not that it's fair to compare these two because they are two different styles of movie, like styles of slashers
Yeah.
trying to do two different things. But it's just the slasher that I enjoy watching is the one that has this immense fucking just monster guy, who's just like that. I can, in my head, I can reasonably believe that like nobody can overpower this guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
One on one, and like it's just I don't know. I appreciate, like I said, what the Scream franchise does, but it's just not for me. It's just a lot of the times it's too boring for me. Of like, I know kind of how like these movies are going to go, and because it is a very tropey franchise and they like to play that up, and that's fine. And I know it's enjoyable for a lot of people, but it's just not for me. And it might also be the like theater going experience that I had where like nobody was really paying attention to this movie. Everyone was talking.
Oh, really?
Um,
That's the
yeah,
worst.
nobody really seemed to, you know, really
Actually
care.
be interested in the movie.
Yeah, and there's quite a few people in there, and it was just a bunch of like talking and like people on phones and stuff. And so,
That's really shitty.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a
that's
great movie
super shitty.
experience, but even without that, it was more of like even Haley, like I went to see it with Haley, and by the end of it, we were just like, okay, like I was looking at my phone, and I'm pretty sure I looked at the time like at least 5 times during this movie. I was like, is this movie over yet? Like, not that it's bad, but it was just like, I don't know. I've seen it
Interesting.
all before, and um, I
Okay.
I want more. I want something more from like new slasher films. Um,
Sure.
like what I got from watching when I first saw Halloween, or um, even like
This is really not super important, but did you like the last Halloween trilogy?
no. Well, I liked the first movie of that trilogy. I actually really liked the first movie, um, but after that, not really.
Mm.
Um, it, I don't. There doesn't have to be a supernatural aspect to these slasher films. For me, it was more like this was just like, for Michael Myers, it was like he wasn't like there's some fucking evil demon thing in him or whatever. But in the original Halloween, it was just he was like this, like just he was not human, even though he was a human,
Yeah.
and he was like the outlier of the human race. You know what I mean? Like, and that was kind of what I was like, oh shit, like yeah, he could totally just like go through a town and start, individually killing a bunch of people, and you know,
Yeah. No, I get it. Like you said before, everybody has their different tastes and whatnot,
yeah,
and just wasn't for you. I am suspecting that the theater going experience played a significant role in your enjoyment in the film, because even even if you don't really care specifically for how the movie was told, I can't imagine being able to like objectively watch a movie when there's a whole bunch of talking and lights from phones and people just
Yeah, I mean, it really
like,
just ruins the
yeah,
entire thing, no matter what.
yeah.
yeah. Like
But I
I
like,
imagine it would
yeah,
just accentuate. It would just accentuate any negative feelings that you had
right,
about it
exactly. Which
already,
is why,
right?
like, the more I think about it now, it's not like I hate the movie, but like when I
Yeah,
got out of the movie, I texted Ocean and I was like, "This movie fucking sucks," because it was just
yeah,
like it was like I was just like, all right, that was like a waste of my fucking time because
yeah.
it was
I'd be
everyone
curious
was
to
just
know. I'd be curious to know if you rewatched it in a such a non shitty setting, or maybe after we talk about it more down here, if your opinion changes. But I am bummed for you that you had to go through that kind of movie experience, and for anybody out there
Yeah, because I just had
that
that
is
not that long ago too. It
yeah,
was awful.
yeah, for everyone out there, if you're that kind of person that goes on their phone or talks during a movie, and I don't mean like whispering to your partner or something
Yeah, or
like
like
right next
laughing
to
at a
you,
funny scene or
right?
whatever.
Like that, I don't mean that. Like that's fine. But if you're just somebody that just has an open conversation while watching a movie, or goes on their phone with their brightness turned up all the way and doesn't give a fuck about everybody else, like just don't go to the movies. Like just don't go. Like you're ruining the experience for yourself and for everybody else around you. And it would be much appreciated by people like us that really enjoy the experience of going to the movies if you just didn't go.
Yeah,
We
seriously.
Yep.
appreciate
Like there was like probably 4 people on like the fucking back balcony row, because they have like the balconies in the theaters over
that.
here.
Yeah.
Just like the entire row was like a party, and they were just fucking like
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because they're
ridiculous.
stupid. They're
talking to
probably just like, oh, they can't hear us. They're all the way down there. Those fucking peasants.
the super loud. Even the people
Peasants.
behind us, like there was a couple behind us that was just like like some fucking
Yeah, that's
teenager
ridiculous.
dude with his girlfriend trying to be funny or whatever. It's just
Yeah,
fucking
that sucks.
Sorry, man. That's a bummer.
yeah.
That's a bummer. But let's get into some scores. Let's put out some scores for how we feel about this movie. I'll go first. I'm gonna give this movie an 8. I really enjoyed it for like 90% of the film. There's some things here and there that kind of just to me, but the ending, and I'll talk about why, but the ending kind of just fell a little flat to me. But other than that, I thought the movie was pretty solid. I actually really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, since my usual movie tastes are not in line with this. But
Hey, Renfield's coming up,
maybe
man.
they are. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are. Frick. Taylor, what about you?
I would give it an 8 as well.
Nice. I like that. Connor?
Originally, if we would have done this right after I had seen it, like a day after, I would have given this like a 3. But I'm gonna give it like a 6. It's like
Okay.
above
I mean,
average.
That's
you
more
can be
than I
honest
thought it
with you.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the longer like I said, the longer time that it's been and the more I've thought over it, it's not like
Okay.
the worst movie I've ever seen,
Yeah.
but it's not
Pray for the devil.
right. It's not Pray for the Devil. So I'm gonna give it a 6. It's not
Okay.
like an average, like mediocre movie like Shazam,
Yeah.
and I think that's the most fair score I can give it
Okay.
for me.
Well, maybe by the end of this conversation, you might feel a little more confident in that number. Or we'll see. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna dive into some spoilers. If you have not seen this movie yet, I don't imagine there's a whole lot more time left before it leaves the theaters. So you might want to try and get it in quickly if you can. If not, we're gonna talk about it in depth, and you guys can
Yeah.
get all the information you need about what happens, and the funny stuff, the good stuff, the bad stuff from this spoiler session. So this,
and
ladies and gentlemen, will
try
be
to watch
your...
it on an obscure times where there's not a lot of
Yeah,
people
well,
who
there's
are
not
going to
gonna be
ruin the fucking movie for you.
Yeah. Which I will say that is something you kind of have to unfortunately deal with when it comes to especially Scream, because Scream, I don't know why, is like perfectly
out
made
weirdos.
for like teenagers slash like young adults for some reason. It's like specifically out of all like slasher and horror movies,
Right.
Scream, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, who
It's
want to be
just
the
like
class
the
clowns
most-
in the movie theater? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just the most iconic thing for a bunch of like fucking jackasses and like that kind of people to go to. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just always been like that.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Well, we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna dive into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be your official
Spoiler alert.
All right. How early did you guys have it figured out who it was? Like, when did you guys realize who Ghostface was?
Well, I figured it was the dad about, I don't know. I can't even fucking remember that like scene specifically, but I knew it was the dad by the time that they were doing.
What you're talking about, because I completely feel the same way. So
Yeah.
when his daughter dies and he comes out of the building and he's like fake crying, That was
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
most obvious point of that's a really bad reaction for your daughter, because he kind of just immediately moves on. He's like, wait,
Right.
like, because then they start talking about like, oh, who's, we think
Who
we
is
know
it?
who it
Right.
is, where they're at and stuff, and he just immediately forgets about it. And it's like, there's no way like that she's
yeah.
dead for one, and that you are not like connected to something, because that's just, you know, fucking horrible
So I'll be honest,
cover up.
I didn't really suspect the dad till the end. Um, I didn't really suspect him that much. In
Yeah.
like in hindsight, there are obvious markers like that, but I didn't really suspect him. I did, however, suspect the daughter Quinn pretty early on. Like as soon as that scene that you're talking about happened, I was like, oh, okay. So this show or this movie made it a point to show the dead bodies of every other person that died in this movie, right? Even down to the roommate that got dismembered and put in the fridge. Like they made a point to show the dead
Right, and they
bodies of
don't show her
everybody
body. Yeah.
except for her. She's the only person that they never showed her dead body. And so that struck me in the moment. I was like, "Huh, all right. Well, I'm a little suspicious, but you know."
Yeah.
And
I
then
didn't think it was the daughter the entire time, but it's like almost immediately I was like, it's the dad and the
yeah,
fucking random kid that was just there like
yeah,
off and
the
on. I
random
was like,
kid
it
was
has to
just
be that guy because he's just like
yeah.
not there, and then he's there, and then he's not
It
there, and then
was
he's there.
and they
Like,
brought it up multiple times too. They're like,
yeah,
"You're the random, like, stay away from me. You're
yeah, and
probably
they kept
him."
saying it so much. I
Yeah,
was like, it's gonna be him.
It's
Like,
like, yeah. It went from like oh yeah, it's probably him to oh yeah, maybe it's not because he is just
and I
randomly
knew,
there all the time
yeah,
and they keep talking about it. But then they kept pushing it even further. And I was
yeah,
like, all right,
they try to
it is probably
pull a
him.
reverse
Yeah.
psychology thing where
yeah,
they
and I
bring it
knew
up,
that.
they bring it up to you, so they expect you to be suspicious, but then they overplay that to try
Right.
to reverse that, and then they're like, just kidding, it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And most of them are two people doing it. So I was like, it's either going to be two people
Oh
or it's
yeah,
going to be
it's
three
usually
people because they're not going
yeah,
to do the
multiple.
one person thing again because it's just going to be, there's like, they're trying to make it like it's one person, but
Yeah.
there's no way. So it's either going to be two or three people. So I wasn't surprised when it was three people, but I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know it was the daughter at the end, but I was
Yeah.
like, it's either going to be the dad and the random kid or the dad and some other fucking person.
Yeah. I thought it was the daughter and some random person that I didn't know. In fact, I actually had like suspicions that it would that they're frick, I can't remember who it was. Fuck. But I didn't think it was the dad until the end. And I will admit that like for me personally, they did a decent job of keeping me like not necessarily guessing, but just questioning everything. Like I questioned everybody, I questioned everything. Like even Kirby, like when she she gives that really weird look after they like lock the door in the shrine place at the end.
Yeah.
uh and it's very like I questioned it. I actually enjoyed the mystery behind who actually was it and why they were doing it. What it
I,
ended up being and who it ended up being, that's where I kind of have an issue with it and it dropped off for me, and that's why the ending fell a little flat. But I actually really enjoyed like the first majority of the movie.
yeah.
So
I actually kind of wish that I think I would have enjoyed it better if they had just made like everybody the Scream, like the dad, the daughter, the random kid, Kirby, like because
like
it was
everybody
just
that they
yeah,
tried to make you
yeah, like
suspect.
you're right, and then it's like it turns out that oh they are all like the Scream guy. I would have been
Like
like
it's
oh
just
okay
like a
that's
giant coven
yeah,
of
yeah,
Ghostface.
but yeah I agree with like I was just like okay the like the random kid I was just like all right whatever like okay. Like he didn't even do anything the whole movie, so it's just like, oh, he's the Scream guy. Okay. Like, and then the fact that like, okay, the dad I can see like, eh, and again, this is a Scream trope, right? But like, you're getting fucking smacked around by this like roided out fucking dude. You know the fucking the guy who gets stabbed like a million times by the two
Yeah.
kids or whatever. But like they're both the scrawny white kid and the fucking daughter are both like half his size and he's literally like a roided out monster. Like he's yoked and he's beating the shit out of you, and there's no way that you're like completely unscathed and like I'm fine, like you know what I mean, and like it,
Yeah.
like I was just like, okay, come on, like if that dude's punching you, you're not getting up. Like there's no fucking way.
Yeah. There definitely were some, like, in hindsight, there were a lot of times where either Tara or Sam or even Gail got some shots in.
Yeah,
Like they hit them or they hit them with something. You know, they got some, they put some harm on them, but we never saw it on the two people once, you know.
yeah, they were
Because
like
I'm
completely fine.
assuming the daughter and the brother did majority of the work, and that
Right.
the father kind of stayed out of it and was more of just like a directing, like he was just kind of leading them. But
I'm
so we
assuming that
just
it
never
was the
saw him.
father who tried to kill the reporter lady in the
Gail.
Gail in the apartment because he
Well, wasn't
was
he? Nah, he couldn't have because he was at the park with
right,
Sam
but
and
then they
them.
took his car and left, and he didn't go into the van with the rest of the people. So
Yeah, I don't know what the time jump is between the scene of them stealing the
because it was
car
like in the
and
middle of the day, and then it turns into
yeah,
like dusk, you know. So
yeah, that is true.
I was like, it's got to be him because he's also like, I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. It's like, all right, that's him because he's wearing a bulletproof vest the entire fucking movie. So
Yeah, I mean, part of these movies, like, it's kind of a point of you never know who it is at the current time.
yeah,
Right.
So it's kind of just left to your imagination.
Sure.
I thought the beginning of this movie was the strongest part of this entire movie.
Oh,
The
the professor getting
yeah,
stabbed.
and that whole like verse thing, I actually really liked that. I was like, okay, I'm on board. And then like after probably the next 20 minutes, I was like, okay, I have to go through like an hour and a half of more of this, and I don't really want to.
Well, I'll be honest. I was kind of thrown for a loop. Like they did that whole scene, which I was really well done. You know,
Yeah,
he lured her into the alley, stabbed her. I was immediately reminded that these movies are very brutal. Like
yeah,
I knew that in my back of my head, but you know, I haven't watched Scream in like over a decade, so
yeah,
I just kind of was reminded that like, hey, like these movies are just like, it's not like he stabs her once or twice, like he stabs her like 40 times.
yeah.
So, uh,
But
but
I liked that because I was like, okay, they might do something different and just have like a bunch of like scream people, you know what I mean?
well,
And
I was thrown
like,
for a loop because he like they showed him right away, right?
right,
Like they showed who he was right away, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess they're trying to go for a different thing. We're like, oh, we're gonna show you who it is, but we're not gonna tell. Like, it's gonna take a while for the main characters to figure out who it is, and you're gonna have this thing of where you're the watcher and you know who it is, and you want to be able to tell the people to warn them, but you can't. Like they've done that in other kinds of movies too. But um, I thought they were gonna do something like that, but they didn't. He ended up dying immediately after,
yeah,
which at that point I was like, wait a minute, what is happening here? I
yeah.
don't.
But I liked that part. I was like, okay, we're like, you know, we're throwing back like we're going back and forth between these like twists, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's gonna be cool. Like maybe this will be, you know, the
So
movie where you're
where
like,
did it
who's the
lose
real
you then?
scream, and then there's like fake screams, you know what I mean, or something.
Yeah.
But
Where did it lose you?
I would say after, oh man, after the apartment scene, it lost me. It was
Of
just
Scream in the apartment,
yeah,
or of
it
Ghostface in the apartment?
yeah, it was just I was look, I get how trippy these movies are and that people can get stabbed like 5 million times and still be okay.
Oh,
But it was just like I don't know, man. Like I gave this movie a 6 because I would have given it a 5 if it had not been for the like really good use of practical effects. And I'm always a big advocate of practical effects. So I really enjoyed when they like Scream stabs the fucking Asian chick and then like, you know, it,
cuts
like shows her
upwards.
fucking like stomach getting ripped up and shit. And I was like, oh shit, you know,
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty cool. But then after that, she's like no, I'm okay. I can still make it. Like she's just like
Yeah.
he's twisting the knife going upward. Like there's no fucking way that you're sitting there just like, okay, let me climb across this ladder, and like,
Yeah, like
you
if she had gotten across
your
the ladder, would
entrails
she
would
have
have just been
survived?
like,
Yeah.
no, there's no way. And her entrails, as soon as she let go, would have just fucking flopped out all over the ground. I mean that
Yeah.
was huge, like a huge fucking hole in her stomach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So from what they showed, so I was just like I appreciated that, but at the same time, I was like I said, from what I like, the slashers that I like is like it's not like you're uh it's not like a video game, you know, where you can get fucked up and you're like, you know, you're okay.
Regen.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like in Halloween, like even getting stabbed one time, you're like, fuck, and it's like you're like you're fucked. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Myers gets like destroyed by that logic and just fine many times
Right.
over.
But I'm just saying from like the original movie, you know, it's just like that movie always sticks with me. The original Halloween movie always sticks with me because of how like brutal it is towards like the victims, you know, and how like there's even though like it's not trying to go for a tropey sense that Scream is trying to go for. It's just more of like the brutal like uh uh I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say weakness, but like fragility of the
Mhm.
victims, you know? And like that actually strikes a little bit of fear where you're just like you're like a paper bag. And it's like you know what I mean? And um, you know, later on I know that Michael Myers gets like superpowers or whatever, but in Halloween's always going to be my favorite slasher, and it's always hard for me to like watch other slashers and get because that's the kind of feeling that I look for in slashers, you know.
And
Um,
that's not what you got from this.
right, and that's and like I said, that's fine, and I get why people like it, and I don't think you shouldn't like it, but it's just not for me particularly. Of
Yeah.
like the tropiness and the like video
Did you
gaminess.
guys find it funny that the boyfriend or the cute guy, whatever, I don't even remember his name, but like
The guy
he
across.
yeah, that he was just standing at his window and watched them get attacked, and
Yeah,
then he just happened to have this like giant ladder in
yeah,
his
just-
living room.
yeah.
It's like,
Here, wait.
yeah,
What's this ladder that I have
this
next to my
and then,
window?
but there's like a good like 3 minutes or so of Ghostface actually attacking them and like stabbing them, and he
Yeah,
knows it's
he does
happening,
nothing.
but he
Yeah.
just stands at the window. He's just like, I'm just gonna stay here and watch just in case. And
Yeah,
then
like
it
open your
happened.
window and like start throwing shit at the window or something.
Something,
You
I
know,
don't
like,
know. Yeah.
He's an idiot, so
yeah. I was like, dude,
I
come
thought it was
on.
funny. Like it was comical to me. I was just like, all right, this is obviously gonna end up being their way out. Like it's gonna end up getting them out of there. But
yeah. I mean, it's in the trailer, so like you know what's gonna happen, but it was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Did you guys suspect him at all, or was he too easy of a
No, I didn't
No.
suspect him.
easy of a suspect?
Yeah. And he had a weird accent. I don't know what it was, but
That would probably be hard to get rid of.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I wouldn't believe even with a modular, you still have like a
I think you're applying too
specific
much logic to
vocal.
that, but yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But you still
yeah.
have like a specific vocal, like
No, yeah.
you know.
You're
Yeah,
right.
I know. In real life, yes, but that's not. This is a movie. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter
Yeah.
in the movie. But I
guess.
he wasn't.
He also just
Nothing,
seemed too
nothing
stupid.
about him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just too much of an idiot. He's literally there just for being an idiot. Like,
He's yeah.
Yeah.
He is what humanizes Sam, right?
Pretty
Sam
much.
is Sam is this character that I mean I never watched Scream 5, so I don't know really, but I know I know kind of what happened. And she went through some pretty nut shit, and then she ended up killing the dude and did it in a very gruesome way. But and now she's being drugged through the mud and being accused of actually being Ghostface, and that she was the killer all along. And she has these very uh, aggressive tendencies, and he's what humanizes her, so that so that we can justify to ourselves, like, yeah, maybe no, she's not, because I don't know, maybe we were fooled the entire the entire of Scream 5, and maybe she was actually involved, but
What did you guys think of the whole layer thing?
I fucking love
I
it.
I thought it was cool
I
initially,
yeah
but the way that it was explained, that like it was the original the two guys that were trying to be Ghostface but ended up dying in the beginning, like they killed the professor, right? Because initially they said it was theirs, right? That's how they found it, right? Was that it was tied to the dude's name, the I can't remember his
yeah the
name,
kid that
but I
killed the
actually really like
professor.
that actor.
Yeah,
Yeah, the kid that killed the professor.
right.
It
But it wasn't
was
his. It turned out to be
right. Then it turned out to be
the
what's his name from Scream 5? He was Ghostface, right, in Scream
uh,
5?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's the sun.
It's the son,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the son
son.
of the yeah, the son that's dead now.
Yeah, but that okay. I thought it was cool too that there was like a layer. I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really fit like in the story where it's at and then like all the way to the end. Like they could have just stayed there
I just
the whole
I have a
fucking
hard
time and just
time.
waited for
These movies require you to suspend belief,
right.
right? They require you to suspend belief to in order to work.
And
I
I was
have a
trying to
hard
do that.
time.
I think it was a big problem of like how shitty the movie experience was that like I was just like trying to follow along with this movie and
Right.
like let go of shit that's happening, but I'm already frustrated, so it's like
Yeah, it just
because there's
accentuates the
you're right, because
frustration,
there's
yeah.
fucking people like just nonstop doing whatever the fuck they want the entire movie, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta sit through this. Like, they're just like all the what really irritated me was all the like emotional drama scenes where they're like, we go from one emotional drama scene where there's one character talking to another character about their feelings, and then we go directly to another scene where there's another character talking to another character about their feelings, and it's like in the when they first find the layer, and it's like the Kirby chick and the other chick, and then they go over to the like uh what is it, Sam and whoever she's talking to, and it's like 10 minutes long, and I'm like, dude, come like I get like I don't care, like this is
Hmm.
you know what I mean, like
That's interesting because
how do
I
you feel
actually
about this?
that's part of what I liked about this movie was that they chose to hone in on the emotions of the characters as they went through these experiences and how their emotions changed and the toll that it was taking on them emotionally. Like I enjoyed that
Yeah,
aspect of
I
it.
don't know, it just felt really like I don't know, I don't want to say like high school emotional-ish, but like just
Juvenile. Or,
yeah, and it
yeah.
was just like really drawn out, like those were really long scenes, and I was just like, do we have to like explain everything, um
Mm.
but like I said, I that could have been because of the
Yeah,
experience that
and
I
it may
had,
just
but
be because like you said, you have different tastes and you're
right.
looking for different tastes. What Taylor? Did those kinds of scenes bother you with the
No, I
emotional
mean, I
drama?
didn't have any problem with them. I thought it was really good. I think it actually does a really good job too of if you have not seen Scream,
Yeah,
like any of them, it kind of catches you up a little bit. Like he just gives you like
the cliff
the
notes.
main points, yeah, that
Right.
you kind of need to know,
That
which
is
helps
something that
you
I was gonna
connect
say
with
is
these
that
characters.
even though I didn't watch Scream 5, 4, and 3, I felt like I knew enough about what happened that I could identify with these characters and kind of know who they were and what they're doing. Because going into it, the only person that I knew was Gail Weathers. Like I didn't know any of these characters before this movie except for Gail. So like they were all brand new to me, and maybe that's why I enjoyed the the emotional scenes because it gave me a little bit deeper of a look into the character and gave me some depth to them, so that I can actually attach to them. But uh, I yeah, I do agree that those
Yeah.
were good, but I can understand your perspective too, Connor. If you're just looking for a slasher film, people getting stabbed and shit, but
I
they're
mean, that's
spending a
not
whole bunch of time on.
yeah, it's not that's not like what I mean. I mean like it's just like I said, it could have been movie experience that I had at the theater.
Yeah.
But it was just like I was bored when those scenes
Mm.
were happening because it was just like so much talking happening all around me and in the movie, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
You
Like
just
I have
don't
to
care.
fucking sit,
Yeah. No,
and
I
it's
get it.
like
Yeah.
I don't care. Like at this point, I'm like, I'm
Yeah, I'm sure
now
when
everybody's talking, and I'm just hearing talking like for fucking 10 minutes straight. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
sure when people were getting stabbed and there was nuts action on the screen, I'm sure everybody shut up and was watching. But as
Yeah.
soon as it changed
right.
to
Anytime people were not being stabbed,
yeah,
there was talking.
there's
Like people were
yeah.
just like fucking around the entire movie. So it's just like, all right, like that was the only scenes that really stuck with me because all the other scenes were just like I was just kind of like droning in and out of this fucking
Yeah, because there's a lot of
Right.
distractions and stuff.
yeah. And even in
I
like
do think maybe you would have enjoyed this movie more if you watched it with me, because I actually watched this movie in 40x and it was awesome.
Oh, you did watch it
Yeah.
in 40x?
Yeah,
what is that?
Oh, wow.
40x
40X
is kind of
is
like a theme park
it's like
ride version of
yeah.
it.
Oh,
So, like, if you love the kill scenes, like every time somebody gets stabbed, you can feel like if they're getting stabbed, like on the side, you'll get like poked, not like really stabbed, but like you'll feel it, like you'll have like
Oh,
kinetic
shit.
Oh,
feedback.
that's
of,
weird.
that is
Uh,
fucking crazy.
I don't know if I could do that, bro.
and
I'd end
then,
up fighting the chair.
whenever,
End up
like, you know,
punching
when that,
that.
like whenever everybody gets stabbed, it'll just fucking shoot water everywhere, like it's blood splattering on your face. And it's
Oh, yeah, I
amazing.
don't know about that.
Anytime you hear a phone ringing, which this is just a classic Scream thing, but
Yeah.
it like you'll feel it fucking vibrating next to you, and you're like, holy shit.
I don't even think we have a 40x thing here. That's fucking
It's
crazy.
You should.
I think it's a
somewhere.
Regal thing, but
Yeah, I don't.
it's
I don't
super
know when we
cool
had
though.
that
It
here.
makes, I wouldn't say every movie is worth watching in it, but this was actually surprisingly really
Oh
good.
man, I would have wanted
Like,
to
it
watch
would've- it would- I
65
think-
with that shit.
Yeah, like it makes things that you typically enjoy about movies like a
Yeah.
little bit better, because it's like even
Yeah.
more immersive, you know.
Damn.
And like when somebody's like an idiot and they're like tripping over, like your chair will be like, or like they're like, you know, banging on the doors and stuff.
Damn, that's
It's
crazy.
really cool. It was nice. I was surprised how well they
I need to
managed to turn this movie for 40x. But
I need to go see a movie in 40x.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
we will. I mean, yeah, we will.
I need to, because I know that I missed out on Top Gun being
That-
in 40x.
Was that in
Yeah.
40x? Oh my god, that must have
Yeah.
been amazing.
Yeah.
Taylor said that
this-
it's like literally the
that
best
was
movie that could be.
Yeah, like honestly, I'm kind of sad that you guys can't experience it. Maybe they'll bring it back one day, like way down the line.
Yeah.
When they
Fuck.
do like re-showings, you know, like an anniversary
Yeah.
or something.
Well, now that's
But
just
Top
another
Gun
reason for us
is
to get our
for
own
sure-
40x theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, you know, maybe hopefully when you come back here,
Yeah.
maybe we can all go together to go watch
Yeah.
something again on 40x.
Yeah. Fuck. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would have enjoyed that a lot more, even with people talking, because this was just fucking.
Well, I imagine people can't really talk a whole lot when
Yeah.
you're in 40x.
No. Because
Yeah.
you're too busy trying to like survive.
Comprehend. Comprehend everything that's going on around you.
Because
Yeah.
it just makes it super immersive, and it definitely adds to the experience, you know. Like I'm for sure gonna be watching like Dungeons and Dragons in 40x.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds.
I'm gonna have to look
awesome.
at upcoming movies and figure out which one I want to go see in 40x. But
Is it
All right.
is it super expensive for the viewers out there? How cost
It
effective?
good
is.
question.
I mean, if you have a Regal Pass, it's not that bad at all. But
Okay.
if you're coming off the street with no membership thing, then it is a little pricey.
Okay.
But I don't know how much more. I don't know if
Could
it's
you
a
give, like,
crazy
a
amount
round number?
versus-
so I think with our pass,
It's
which we pay like $27 a month or something,
Right.
It's
But,
22, I think. But
or 22,
Yeah.
whatever. We pay.
I have
we
that
pay
with
a
the
certain amount a
AMC
month.
theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very similar. You
it's
get
like
to
the
pay for
standard
Yeah.
right,
subscription thing.
and then you just pay like the difference
Right.
when you go see the 40x, which is probably
And
like
f-
$8 or so.
Yeah, I think it's like $7 or $8.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
it's not
okay.
not bad at all. If you're coming off
So
the street though, it might be
it's probably
like
like $20,
25 or something. I don't know.
25 just for the ticket itself.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good
Would
to
you
know.
have paid $25 to go see Top Gun in 40x today?
Yes,
Yeah.
multiple times. I mean, I did watch the movie like 9 times now, so
Yeah. Yeah.
I
All
watched it
right,
again.
let's get back to Scream though.
Yeah.
Scream 6.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the ending because like I mentioned some minor things here and there throughout the movie that kind of rubbed me the wrong way or just kind of took me out of it. But ultimately, the reason why my score is an 8 and not any higher is just because of the way that it ended. Um, I felt like it was just super flat, and there was a lot of tension and anticipation building throughout the film with the them trying are you trying to figure out who Ghostface was, a bunch of people getting hurt, you know, Sam, the whole thing online and whatnot. Like there's just a lot of stuff building throughout the movie, and it was all coming to a point, and then at the end it just ended up being this very, to me, unrealistic story about a father wanting revenge because his psychopathic serial killer son was killed to stop his psychopathic serial killing. You
Yeah.
know, and so in response to that, he now becomes a psychopathic serial killing monster that pulls in his uh two other kids into that same path.
Right. Even though
And
he
it
was just a
just
regular cop before that.
yeah, and so it bugged me that that was the end of the story, right? That it it just ended up being this ridiculous family that all four of them are serial killers. Like they end up all being crazy serial killers. So, and then just the end felt really dragged on. Like I felt like it was
Yeah, the end
like
fight
the final
scene.
battle scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, like them fighting. It just felt like it was just a little longer than
Yeah,
it
that
needed
was
to
one of the
be.
times that I was looking at the clock. So I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
can we just
felt
kill
like it was
somebody?
longer than it needed to
Like,
be. And the final like nail in the coffin for me was the like when they finally kill the father and Sam's like standing there. Actually, Sam decides to put on the ghost face costume, which I was just like, okay, like I could understand the phone call and maybe the voice modulator to like, get his attention and stuff, but did you really need to put the costume on? Did you really need to put it on for your purposes? And then she like stabs him 20 times in the arms and the shoulders and the sides and stuff. And then he ends up on his knees, begging for his life or whatever. And then she's like, I'm not or my dad was a murderer, but I'm not. And then she looks over at Tara, just like she like gave her the nod, like I give you permission to kill him. She's like, but you fucked with my family, and stabs him in the face. It was like, oh yeah, you're not a murderer, but you just stabbed a dude 30 times and then killed him. Like, okay,
yeah,
cool story, bro. It was just a little. It just didn't sit right with me at the end. It didn't. I don't think it like hurt the rest of the movie for me. I still really enjoyed the rest of the movie, but I was just like, all right,
does
that was
this
kind of flat.
did this experience to make you now more excited to see like future Scream movies?
I'm definitely interested and open to it. Um, I think they definitely leave the door open for more,
Yeah,
right? Like there's definitely potential for more
I
coming.
mean,
yeah,
I do
Scream will never end.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
won't.
do think that like I do think that Kirby is gonna end up snapping. Like I do think that that look that we got when they first got in there and she was like, "Oh, this place is secure and the only way in and out is this." And then there's that like really sinister look that she gives. And plus I do think she actually isn't with the FBI anymore. I do think that she was really fired because she never actually showed a badge during the movie. Like there was never she always had the gun, but she never showed a badge to anybody, um, on screen at least. So I do think that maybe the next one or maybe a couple down, Kirby might snap and end up, I don't know if becoming
Yeah.
Ghostface or not, but just and
Do you
that
think?
could be interesting.
Do you think this opens you up to watching like other different kinds of slasher movies, or do you think this is the like slasher movie? This is the type of slasher movie for you, and like,
Um,
or are you like, okay, now I kind of want to see like what other slasher movies are like Terrifier or Halloween or Friday
I
the
I
13th
don't
or
I
whatever.
don't think so.
No.
If I'm being honest, I think that the level of scared that I was in this movie
Hmm.
was like at my threshold because I wasn't ever like actually scared about
Hmm.
anything. There's a lot of suspenseful moments and a lot of like trying to figure out what the hell is going on and who it is, but there was no point where I was like genuinely scared like I am in some other movies.
Right.
Uh and I don't think that I would really be interested in watching a slasher movie where I like because I anticipate if I watched like the original Halloween that I would end up being just terrified the entire time.
Yeah,
So
but there's definitely other slasher movies that are in this
sure,
vein where like Friday the 13th has definitely gone in the more non-scary route. I wouldn't even say like the first one is scary, but um like, do you think you would be more open to watching like more like tropey, campy kind of slashers like this one?
potentially,
Yeah.
potentially. Ultimately, the only reason why I watched this movie was the trailer.
Okay.
When we watched the trailer, me and Taylor, we did the trailer reaction on it. It just it just intrigued me. Like I
Yeah.
was just like, huh, it looks different than what I would like. Looks different than all the other Scream trailers that I've seen come out for the last movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
And
was
I
interested.
want to say for everybody, like, I know my opinion is probably unpopular, and I do enjoy like there are times where I do enjoy like campy, just fun slasher movies where they're really just not taking themselves seriously and kind of making fun, and they do have a lot of fun making the movie. Um, and I think that is a good style of slasher movie because it's hard to do a slasher movie that is like the original Halloween, that is serious and like
Right.
really
Sinister and shit.
unsettling, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I get that, and I think that's a good direction to go with the slashers movies. So I'm not trying to say that this like I still enjoy watching like Terrifier, which is like not that's like a like just a like fun slasher movie where you're just kind of like, okay, it's not scary, but it's kind of fun because it's just like this fucking weirdo clown guy going around killing people.
Oh,
But
if there's clowns in it, I ain't.
Yeah, I
yeah,
already know that Ocean wouldn't
yeah,
watch that.
but
That ain't
like
happening.
so I just want to clarify that because I know I'm probably gonna be in the
No,
minority, but I do think it's this movie's not bad in general. I don't think for the type of slasher movie it's trying to be.
Taylor, what did you think about the end? As somebody that is a little bit more uh, experienced with this kind of film, what did you think about the end?
It was kind of mixed.
A little mid.
Well, because there's certain things about it. Like I actually really liked that she put on the costume, mostly because the entire time she's trying to pretend that she's not
A,
who
a
not a
killer,
killer,
or
and
yeah,
not that like
yeah.
she's trying to escape like her. Well, I don't really want to say destiny, but
Genetics or whatever.
Yeah.
like clearly you were kind of a part of that,
I mean,
and
she killed her boyfriend by stabbing him like 30 times and then shooting him in the face.
yeah, I mean,
So,
yeah, even that's kind of like it's not so
yeah.
simple, but yeah, just I kind of like the fact that she, even though she tried to avoid it the entire time, what better way for you to fail than to do exactly what you were trying to avoid, And then
Mm,
the whole voice modulator thing, I love it because Roger L. Jackson is just amazing as Ghostface. The
yeah.
voice, um,
Right, right.
it doesn't make any sense to me, and it never has as far as people using it because
Yeah, like where are
there's
people getting this modulator from?
right like the entire like you never see anything, they just have it, it's just the voice and
It's
it's
like
great,
a
but it's
program
just
on their phone or
it's just
something.
something you just accept. But
You suspend your belief
she
for.
but
Yeah.
it was funny and weird at the same time because she just does it out of nowhere at the very end, right when she calls a guy and she's like talking to him and stuff. But I do think that it was like kind of shaky with like just the family in general. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I almost don't hate it because that's Scream.
Okay.
It's disappointing because it's like I want them to
Do something
improve
different.
it,
Yeah.
but I don't really hate it because it's like I kind of iconic for Scream to end kind of like that.
Yeah. I
Okay.
get what you're saying. Like I would agree with you, but it
So
just
it's kind of an ending that you would expect from a
right.
Scream
I mean,
movie.
Right,
that's
like it
it's
is a
basically
Scream ending, but
yeah,
it's
it's the
just like
same ending as like
I wanted it to be a little different, but
yeah.
it, like I said, it was kind of mixed because there were certain things in there, like obviously the from what this leaves open for another sequel. Obviously we still have Kirby, Sam, and Tara.
And the roided out guy. He's still alive.
Oh yeah, he
Chad.
did survive.
Yeah, Chad, that got
Chad.
stabbed 76 times.
I don't know
Yeah.
why he's not dead, but
And Mindy is still alive too.
Yeah, yeah, and then the chick that got
oh, yeah,
stabbed
she
in the
did
stomach.
survive.
Her
That's
brother.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, or his sister. Yeah. Yeah,
that's
she
right.
survived because she
But-
showed up at the scene at the end, and despite being
Right.
stabbed in the stomach and essentially paralyzed on the butt on the train, she was able to run. And she just like, oh, I'm on so many drugs right now, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I
don't
mean,
expect any sort of realism from like the
yeah. I mean,
wounds.
I try to stay away from all that because I guarantee you I could tear apart a lot of things, which I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing in the future, very soon. But
Oh,
yeah, I just try to stay away from that. Yes, of course, you just kind of have to like look past it. I don't mind it at all because it's Scream. You just have fun with it. It is what it is. You either like it or you don't.
yeah. All right. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I might even go back and watch like 3, 4, and 5 just to kind of get a complete picture of the franchise and the overall storyline.
Yeah, the ending for me, I would agree with you guys. But it was really like for me, it was just like as soon as they go in, like Sam goes in and it starts playing the original scenes from Scream 1 or whatever, from the movie that he made.
Yeah.
I was like, I rolled my eyes and I was like, okay, here we like I knew exactly like this is how it's gonna end. Okay, and then, like
yeah. But I love it.
Right, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like I get it, but I was more like as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, let's just can it just end because like I do kind of like at this point, like even though Scream is already not really my taste, I still kind of just want to see them do something a little different that I saw a glimpse of in like the beginning of the movie.
Sure. Yeah, no, I totally understand, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of opportunity because they're probably going to make more. So
for sure,
Yeah.
it'll never end. Like Taylor said,
it'll never end.
It's just like Predator and Friday the 13th.
I don't know so much about Predator.
Well, it's just like it's a franchise that's never going to end.
Yeah, Friday the 13th for sure. Like I said, it's because
they can always figure out a way,
like the perfect audience. They know
exactly
who watches their shit, and they will keep
Nightmare on Elm Street.
It'll always do well. Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't really agree with that. Not in the sense that I don't want it, but we just don't get it. I actually really want them to.
I do really want them to do another one. Yeah. I'm sure they will.
Classic,
I have no doubt that they are going to do that. Yeah.
And it's going to be very challenging, I'm going to admit, because not having...
It is a classic.
I don't know why I can't remember his name, sorry.
The main guy.
Yes, the guy who...
Yeah, isn't he dead?
Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Not having Robert Englund is going to be a massive uphill battle. But
yeah, because he played that character so well.
Yeah, he literally made the movie franchise what it is because he was just so good at it. But it is something I do think somebody needs to consider tackling because
producers, if you're listening to us, bring back slashers. Start bringing back all the old slashers. We need more remakes.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for talking with me about this film. Like I said, I was surprisingly surprisingly enjoyed the film.
Yeah,
And
I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I actually am super happy that you like this movie because
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this opens you up
I
to
just
some
wish
more
you
of
had a
these types of
or a
movies.
better experience, Connor. Because
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
fucking
bummed.
hated the experience that I had. I
mean,
literally,
like,
I wish I
even
could have
though you
liked this
thought
movie.
The movie was like mid. Like I
Yeah.
can't imagine. Like because like I said, I just had the same thing for another thing.
Yeah,
Like another. It's not really a movie, but it was in a theater.
theater
but
experience.
it's
Yeah,
shitty, like god awful experience, and it just pissed me off so
it
much.
really brings down like the entire
Anything.
experience. Yeah, anything
Yeah.
that's going on in the movie. So like, I
especially
really hope.
when you're so passionate about movies and films.
Right,
like we are,
exactly.
you know, just
Yeah.
really.
So I'm
really
hoping
sucks.
when Scream 7 comes out, I can go to a theater and watch it and actually enjoy it for what it
Yeah.
is and in a good
40X.
theater experience. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's really sucked that I felt like I just wasted my fucking money going to this movie because I was just
Yeah,
like, this
which-
fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah, that does suck.
I'm sorry, dude. That sucks.
yeah,
That's a bummer.
but
Well,
you can't
thank
win
you
them
for
all.
joining us anyway, though. We appreciate you. And
Yeah.
we had a
Thank
good
you guys for having
conversation.
me.
Always, man. We really enjoy having you guys on the show, and I think the fans do, or the viewers, I should say, do as well. So, thank you guys for joining us. Are you guys a fan of the Scream series and franchise? Do you guys enjoy it? Would like to hear what your thoughts are on the newest addition to the franchise. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links as well as the other comments or other shows here on Any Kine Media. And look forward to some more episodes this week as we try to catch you guys up with our thoughts on all the things that have come out recently.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Catch you guys in the next one.
Bye, guys.
What's your favorite scary movie?